Welcome to our podcast.
Called?
Oh, you can fix you.
Is this how it's going to go?
I will nail the intro one day.
I don't know if this is better or
flawless. Flawless. So today we're on episode 20.
Three.
I'm hungry.
Oh dear.
It's lunchtime. So, the importance of a pain-free life. I really today want to go into the difference that moving better made to my life and how I live my life as well. So it's not just, hey, do a couple of stretches, blah, blah, blah. Like movement literally changed everything about my personality, the things that I do, the friends that I have, the stuff that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people that aren't living their life to the full because they can't move in a way that they would feel confident to try new things or do new things. You know, there's bound to be people in your life, in your own family, that you say, oh, we're going to do this thing. And they're just like, well, have fun with that. And they wouldn't even dare to think that they could go and do it too with you. And I think pointing this out is going to be helpful for some people. So if you could go back in time, be 20 years old again, move like a ninja, have no physical limitations whatsoever, what would you choose to do?
I know I encourage you to ask that question, but when I was 20, I was in a lot more pain than I am in now.
If you could be a 20-year-old that wasn't in the amount of pain that you were in at the time.
Yes.
So if you could give your now 30-something body, it's not nice to disclose a woman's age, even if they are 34.
I'm not!
Oh, you're not?
I'm 33!
Oh, thanks for telling us all, Jenny. So if you could take your 33 strong and robust gusto and give it to your 20-year-old self, what do you feel like you would have done differently or changed? Are you happy enough?
I guess. Yeah, like I'm not at the point where, like, I'm probably in a much better position now than I was then in many ways. Like the great thing about being 20 was that I didn't need to recover apparently, and I could do 3 workouts a day and then come back and do it the next day and I was fine. So I do miss that. But other than that, I feel like I really enjoyed my training in my youth. I was doing martial arts, I was a black belt, I was learning CrossFit at that time, I was still training in the gym, like I was doing loads, but I still do all that, and I now do it better without as much pain. But I think that's a really useful question to ask somebody who is currently feeling limited and is maybe a little older and has maybe had the opposite journey to what I've had, in which they felt like they've gotten a bit weaker over time.
Yeah. If I could go back in time, so I had an awful experience with I did no interest in training, so I didn't train until my mid-20s. Didn't care about it, didn't find it interesting whatsoever, thought people that went to the gym were weird. Still think you're pretty weird.
Oh yeah. I second that.
I don't know where that came from. So I had no interest in it whatsoever, but when I finally did fall in love with it and then completely horribly injured myself and ended up was like, think I was going to give it up, and then I fixed myself, became completely pain free, and then was like, had the best time of my life. I was like, I could not believe how fun this stuff was. I became a gym weirdo. I would have been in the gym 6-7 hours a day. They just couldn't have kept me out of the place. You know, I absolutely loved it. If I could take that knowledge then and give it back to my 20-year-old self back then, I would have lived a totally different life.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
I would have started training way younger. I probably would have competed way more. I probably would have done all these things if I had known how fun it was at the time. And that's the kind of thing that I worry about for people that just are so stuck in their own bubble that they're not trying new things or think that they can't do things. It's like, if you take a year or two and learn how to move better and improve your mobility and do all the stuff, you might have a whole new world open up to you, full of colour, 4K, 8K, 16K. What K are we up to now?
So many Ks.
All the Ks.
Infinite Ks.
You just might have so much more fun. It's not to say that what you're doing now is wrong and you're a bad person, apart from JP. This is where we're going today. But you know, there might be something else out there for you. And especially, I know myself, I get stuck in a rut sometimes where I'm like, oh, am I really doing the most fun things I could be doing, you know? But I kind of, you know, ask myself that question now with everything I do. It's like, I train most days, I go for a walk anytime I want to and don't worry about it. I play with my kids and I feel great. When I wake up in the morning, there's no pain, and that's a really nice thing for me. And I'm very happy with everything that I'm doing right now. And I can say that to myself and truly be like, I'm happy with everything I'm doing. There's nothing I think I really want to change.
That's cool.
But I do know for others that maybe there is. What about you, JP? If you could go back to your 20-year-old self. You're quite similar to
JP
Jenni.
is really old. He's 34. Ancient.
What is this?
It's that negativity thing we're talking about. I've started and now Jenny's joining in.
Well, like,
I always make fun of how old JP is.
yeah, it's true.
Because
Um,
it's like 10 minutes old.
Exactly.
It just comes with so much extra wisdom, experience and knowledge, and you know, you'll understand it when you get to my age.
Oh yeah.
Similar to Jenny, I think I have a different experience than a lot of people. I'm very privileged in that because I was active from a young age, I've just always stayed active. I never went through that sort of a lot of sporty. I've never classed myself as sporty, but the evidence is kind of there to say that I
You
probably
are.
am. Yeah, exactly. But in my eyes, the classic sort of guys who do sport is that they do sport all through school, and then they go to uni, they get a career, and then 10 years later, they come back to sport again because they realised, oh, actually, I need some sort of joy in my life. I never went through that lull. I just switched from one activity to the next. I rode, I ran, I got CrossFit, I owned a gym, I kept doing CrossFit.
And kept doing CrossFit.
And kept doing CrossFit and still do
kept doing
CrossFit. And I can go paddleboarding, I can go walking, I can play tennis, I can do all these things. The biggest problem I run into is that, and this is going to sound really bad, I'm better at everything than most people.
Mm-hmm.
So I go for a walk and I'm like, why are you so slow?
Mm-hmm.
Or I go paddleboarding and I'm like, I have to really hold back. And that's
Not in a mean way.
No,
it's just,
not at all.
It's hard because you're that person that has this complete physical freedom.
Totally.
You have had no restrictions in that way. And
I'm an
it's almost
anomaly.
weird. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like my two best friends from school, we went to Edinburgh. Edinburgh's known for being quite hilly. Mm-hmm. And I got to the top of the hills and I looked back and they're halfway down the hill gasping for air. You know, their legs are on fire and I'm like, what's the problem?
We're just walking.
I just forget that like what I expect to be normal at 34, which you'll experience sometime, Jenny.
I'll get there
is
one day.
so different from, you know, what is normal.
Wait till you two get to 30.
Yeah, you'll know.
It's all downhill from there.
But
sure.
But it makes me really sad to see that it isn't normal, that people don't feel this awesome. And like, that's not to say I don't get injuries, I don't get hurt.
You've had quite a bit of issues with tendonitis.
Exactly, yeah. And yet I could look at any activity that I want to do and I'm like, I could do that. Mm-hmm. I could give it a go at least. And that freedom to be able to do whatever I want is really powerful. Mm-hmm. And I wish everyone could feel that way.
I think with someone that doesn't have that same experience, though, they can fall into that, oh, you're so lucky to be so fit. But it's like, you've never not trained. You just changed what you were doing. Jenny
had a great one with it. So I was having a bit of a meltdown with work. And
that's not like you.
Like, this production company was like making this epic video. And they're like, oh, this bit was really hard. And then they move on and they talk about the next thing. And what we don't see is that the bit that they said was really hard took them, 10 hours, 3 days.
Involved throwing a laptop
out the window and stuff. And you're so lucky, JP, that you're in good shape. Yeah, that's because I train every week for 5 hours. And I have done for over 15 years. Yeah. Relentlessly. Mm-hmm. And like last night, I did intervals on a bike. That's not fun. Yeah. But it works. So yeah, you kind of, it's easy to dismiss what it takes to get results sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it, and it makes a lot of sense because, like, I think a lot of people would only focus on the end results like that and go, oh, but you're fit, so you wouldn't understand, or oh, I wish I could be like you, or oh, you're so whatever, and you're like, that's like, I worked really hard for this. Don't dismiss my work and everything that I did to get here.
I get really frustrated every week. Classic JP. I get to Friday and I'm like, I achieved nothing this week outside of work, walking the dogs, and getting exercise in every day. I didn't have time to do renovations at the house. I didn't have time for a hobby. I didn't do this, didn't do that. Forgetting
Those three things.
those three things in themselves are huge.
Yeah.
And especially, I actively choose in my free time to spend time and commit to working out, which, yeah, it's a time sacrifice that feels like a chore sometimes, but then you're like, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
No.
I couldn't have it any other way.
And it's the weirdest thing that you can fit so much more into your life because you have more energy, because you spent the energy to create more energy through exercise as well.
Yeah.
So it feels like, oh, I don't have the time to do that, because you almost feel like you're too tired to do other things. But the more you push yourself, the more you can tolerate.
Oh yeah.
So the more you can do. And it's this, you don't know until you've been through that. Like I was that person. Like I walked around Amsterdam with my wife. It was one of our first trips away. I went to Berlin, and it was the second trip I went to as Amsterdam. And I moaned the entire time about how sore my hip was. Anytime there were stairs, I was like, no, I'm not going up there. And just completely ruined the whole trip. Like if I was now my body now to go back to then, I would have slapped myself silly. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know how cool it is up there. Like,
Totally,
I want to see this. You know?
You're in your 20s.
Yeah, I was in my 20s back then.
Stop complaining.
Yeah, so if I could have the knowledge I have now to just go back and experience those things again, it would be so different, and it would be so much nicer. I'm not wishy-washy with it. I know I would have enjoyed it so much more if I had have felt the way I do now, strength-wise. So again, it's not a put down on anyone. It's not,
because we all normalize our own experience.
Totally.
So to me, it's totally normal to feel like this. To Jenny, it feels normal to be her, and for you. And if you haven't been active, or you've been plagued with injuries, or for whatever reason you are who you are, that's just normal. And so you're like, well, why would I want to go and climb up that mountain to see that view? Why would I want to, play with dogs? Dogs are smelly and I don't like them. Like there's all these different things that you just rationalize in your head because it's your normal experience.
Yeah, almost like your personality and your hobbies are like evolve with your physical state, because why would you go hiking if you weren't fit enough to hike?
That'd be stupid.
I was actually talking with Shannon about this the other day.
Oh yeah?
I can't remember how it came up, but I think we were both sort of saying like, oh, I'm really tired. And I was like, you know what, for someone who is fit and healthy, which I class myself as, sometimes I feel really crap. And I was like, this isn't fair. I eat my vegetables, I drink my water, I do my working out, and sometimes I wake up and I'm like, ugh, like physically or mentally or whatever. And then I'm like, as you were saying, that's still relative to my own experience. My feeling bad or like physically is actually probably, because I don't know, but probably so much further ahead than someone who isn't eating their veggies and working out regularly. But yeah, they see probably what I feel is a bad day is a good day for them.
Someone needs a coffee and a smoke to get to how you feel.
Yeah, and it's like we don't realise how other people feel, and sometimes we don't realise maybe how good we can feel. So people who don't have a healthier lifestyle and have normalised what it is that they feel, and the aches and pains when they get out of bed, that's just normal. The fact that they do need coffee to get going in the morning, that's just normal. And the fact that they need like sugary foods and caffeinated beverages throughout the day
every 2.5 hours.
And it's like, and then you're dying in the evening and you just want to lie down on the sofa. It's like, that's life. Of course it is. No, it's not. It doesn't have to be.
But don't try and change everything at once.
Oh, yeah.
So the first thing, kind of for like a thought exercise, I think, try and think, has there ever been a time that you've said you can't do something because of pain or injury? If you want, you can pause the podcast even if you want, but have a think right now. Is there any time, even as trivial as it is, someone said, hey, do you want to go to cinema or something silly? And you went, nah, back's a bit sore. Have a think. Is there places you're almost putting the handbrake on your own life through how you feel? Have a wee think about that. And then also, is there things that you're also blaming your age or your lack of strength for not wanting to try something? Like, are you starting to say, I'm too old for that? Because, like, we have a privilege of seeing people in their 60s and their 70s. And, like, I would be anxious to work out with them because they smash me in a workout. Like, like their cardiovascular capabilities just nowhere. I would not even be able to touch. You know, so like, have a think. You know, are you holding yourself back and putting these boundaries on yourself from doing stuff that if those boundaries weren't there, which you could remove through training and really, you know, working hard for a while, like, would you live your life differently?
Sometimes your brain will automatically default to, oh no, I don't even want to try that. But if you can take a breath and go, do I not want to try it because I don't think I'll be good at it, because I think I can't? Or is it because that activity doesn't interest me? So, for example, I have no interest in downhill mountain biking. That to me just seems really dangerous. But there's plenty of people that get a real thrill out of it. But something like dancing, I could physically do it. I would probably really enjoy it. But what holds me back is probably like, oh, I just don't want to look stupid, or I don't want to be bad at it. So it's just even worth like understanding yourself really well and knowing, well, why am I holding myself back from this?
See, one of the biggest things that helped me with the looking stupid thing was the like looking into like how neurology, like if you try and learn a new thing, it's like brain food. Your brain loves to try and figure out problems. So then I was like, so every time I try something I'm bad at, that's better.
That's good,
because you've less to get from what you're already good at.
Oh, totally, yeah.
You know, so like if I love to use juggling as that example. Like once you're good at juggling, your brain doesn't get as much from it anymore.
Yeah.
But that actual learning the juggling is so good for you. So trying new things is really good, and especially if you are someone with like chronic pain and your body's got stuck in this rut of like every time I move a certain way.
Is a good way to hack that, isn't it?
Rewrite those patterns in your brain and your body. If you learn something new, it might be just enough to help with something, because there's some corrective exercises out there that actually aren't very good, and the only reason they helped was because the person done something they hadn't done before, and their brain went, oh, does that move like that?
Just novelty.
I guess we're fine now. You know, so so that's something that really motivated me for the feeling stupid thing, because I was exactly the same. I wouldn't for ages try doing, because I'd always been interested in martial arts when I was younger. I thought it was cool. I loved the Power Rangers. I was like,
mostly the sound effects.
And the Zords, and it was a quality TV show. There was no messing with that show. There was funny bit in the high school. Bad guy came down. Power Rangers came out. They got beat first of all. Then they got the Zords. They turned into big giant monsters. They had their fight. Power Rangers saved the day. Just perfect format every time. You knew it was going to happen. Beautiful. See, I loved martial arts back then. Like
Jackie Chan.
9 or what, you know? And I didn't start doing martial arts until I was like 25, 26.
All that time you could,
all that time I could have been doing that, you know, because I just thought, I didn't want to look silly. I don't want to go to martial arts club and I might get beat up, you know. And I was just so scared to try it because I was so not athletic in the slightest. You know, I sweat walking up a hill. I couldn't tie my shoelaces. You know, I had to sit down and try and bend sideways in a weird way to try and tie my shoelaces. I wasn't flexible to do anything. So that held me back so much back then. And like when I started doing it, I fell in love with it so much, and it was just so much fun. So
and it's crazy once you get into it, you're like, oh, I wish I could have spent the last 8 years working on this. But then if you weren't ready for it,
but that's the way I kind of go all in with something. Then it's like, well, okay, I've got to make up for lost time. I'm going to do this every day, multiple times a day, and catch up. And then, you know, I kind of love that, like trying to see, like, right, okay, they've been doing this for 10 years. Can I get better than them in one? You know, it's, you know, not in a mean way, but kind of like, can I front load so much work that I can catch up to someone that's been doing something for many years in a fast way? So I want to tell you that you can change the hand you have been dealt.
Yeah, it's never too late to start. So we're talking, so me and JP have both had athletic backgrounds, so we're kind of a bit unqualified, I would say.
And very unhelpful.
To talk about how to begin, because we've never not been fit. So how would someone who's like, well, what you're talking about, I wish I'd done all this stuff, I wish I'd done that. Yeah, I wish too, but I can't, and so it's too late. How would you actually start? Now.
That's also why we do what we do, is that because we feel how we want to encourage others that
they
can get there. Better, and like we've worked with enough people to help them
Yeah, but you still also have had your own struggles, like your hypermobility issues. You know, it's like, yeah, sure, you were training loads when you were 20, but you were banjaxed. You were
I
in
was.
agony all the time, and that's
Yeah.
not fun. And that could have been enough for you to give up.
Yeah.
You know what I
that's
mean? If
true, yeah.
you could have then just went, you know what, I've got hypermobility, I can't do that anymore. Whereas now you've started doing Taekwondo again,
Yes,
and
I have.
you seem to be having a great time with it,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
That's great. No problems at all.
Yeah. And like JP as well, like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, your background in rowing, like you've got this tremendous cardiovascular strength. And like if you need to rep
Endurance.
something out,
Oh yeah,
you know,
just gripping
all
it.
day long, but your one rep max strength you've really struggled with because you never trained it. So you've worked so hard
Oh,
to
yeah.
get so much stronger, and it's paid off.
Yeah.
You know, but you were able to apply the stuff that you learned from your other training and
Yeah.
that discipline to then getting stronger
Yeah.
faster.
They're all
And that's the thing about getting started and starting to try and learn new things. Once you do that and you start going down that path, it's so much easier
Oh,
to do
totally, yeah.
other new things as well. You know, once you learn how to learn better, learning's easier.
So I was doing the snatches. It was the snatch day, and I just wrote down on my whiteboard where I was tracking all the weights. Right, make it fun, then make it good.
Mhm.
And I think that applies to this. Is okay. You don't know where to start. Start with fun. Do something that's fun. If going for a walk sounds exciting to you, go for a walk. If kicking the crap out of somebody at a Power Ranger school sounds good, go do that. If you want to play table tennis, do that. You know, go to a friend who has a dog. Like, start with fun and then figure out how to make it.
There's no wrong way to start.
Exactly,
is there?
right.
Like, just because we train a certain way doesn't mean that you have to do it too. And just because someone else you admire is a CrossFitter,
Yeah.
don't start a CrossFitter. It doesn't appeal to you.
Get
like,
a Nintendo Wii
Yeah.
or a
Yeah.
Switch
Yeah.
and just like fling it around, play some tennis in the living room. Like, nobody needs to
Yeah.
see you. Just like have fun with it.
Totally. I like that.
And then refine as you go.
Yeah.
So, next brain exercise
Okay.
will be define what strength works or what strength looks like to you. So you don't just want to say, yeah, I know I need to work on my body's flexibility and stuff, and then you leave it at that. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, give me something tangible. Give me something you can work towards. And that's kind of why SMM has the 10 tests of like,
Yep.
can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? And frame it in that way. Be excited. Okay,
Yeah.
if I know what I can't do, then I
Totally.
know what I want to work on.
Yep.
Rather than just, I'm not flexible. That's not helpful to you whatsoever.
Well, I've got a similar issue right now because, believe it or not, I am having issues with going back to Taekwondo. There is a reason I stopped in the first place. But I need to strengthen my ankles because that's the main issue. There's a lot of bouncing, a lot of impact, and my ankles are just weak joints for hypermobile reasons. I have done a lot of work to strengthen them. I can do a lot more than I used to be able to. Didn't used to be able to walk very far, all this kind of stuff. But they're still not quite good enough to deal with what I'm trying to put them through now. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, I need to strengthen my ankles. Okay, today I'll strengthen my ankles. I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, no, today I'm definitely going to strengthen my ankles. And you're like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that look like? And when have I finished? Like, that I need to set those parameters in order to actually take action, because otherwise you just start messing around and like, okay, I did it this week. It's okay if I skip next week. And did that even make a difference? I'm not actually sure. It's too hard. I'll do it next week. So yeah, defining actually what it means and then working backwards of how you could get there, I think is so useful
Totally.
to do
I
anything.
think ankle wise, so just to keep it on you for a second, ankle wise, especially with hypermobility, you need to find out how much you can tolerate before you've tipped things over the edge. So you want to use things that are going to be similar to the Taekwondo stuff. Skipping is going to be one. So how long can you skip for maybe left leg, right leg, both legs before you maybe find the next day you wake up going, ow, this is too sore. You kind of know, oh, I did 47 seconds. I know that's my limit. Let's try 40 seconds and try, can I build that up multiple days in the week?
Yeah.
And then you've also got your progressive loading as well. So just doing calf raises, you could probably do calf raises all day long. Your ankle, well, you could do them up to a point. Your ankles are stronger probably than what you're giving them credit for,
Maybe.
But they're still giving you problems. So you want to try and think, right, how can I make these exercises I'm doing a little bit more progressive and harder
Yeah.
so that you've got that extra buffer.
Yeah,
there.
like if in a training session you can you can only do 20 reps, and you know in your taekwondo you're going to need to do bouncing for an hour and a half, you're probably going to do more than 20 reps. So you need to build a surplus in there. And the same thing for any sport. Like whenever I first had issues with my elbows, I figured out after a year and a half I'd build it up. If a workout had more than 70 reps of a pulling exercise, I was going to have pain the next day, but I could tolerate anything up to that. And then over time, that number crept up. So it's even just knowing in your head, okay, at the moment, I'm prepared to do this amount of work. Great. Rather than jumping into something and then having to regret it because you're like, oh, I wasn't ready for that. It just helps with like scaling and doing an appropriate exercise at the time. But it's so much experimentation and that's so difficult to track.
But that's how everybody's different.
Yeah.
You know, that's what the progress that Jenni would make compared to someone that doesn't have hypermobility. That person without hypermobility would probably make faster progress.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't mean, oh, better not try. Why bother then?
Yeah.
It just means you're going to have to put more work in. But then when they're trying to kick someone in the head, for example, and you're like, oh, is that supposed to be hard? You know, so there's the pros and cons to everything that you have, you know, and that's, for me, I always find, so building strength for me was never that hard. Like, I know if I stuck to a program for a while, I'll make pretty good progress pretty quickly. I wouldn't plateau as fast as what a lot of other people would.
Sure.
But for me, trying to get flexible was absolute nightmare. It takes so long in certain stretches trying to relax, and I would see people achieving stuff that took me maybe 6 months to a year to get in a couple of weeks, and those people need to stop. But that's, you know, you've got to think, okay, because you got to write your program around what you can do yourself. You know, we can give you nice frameworks and stuff. That's the lovely thing about SMM, is it will find you out if you're inflexible or you're lacking stability. It tests the both. So everybody that does it will have different test results, but everyone that does it will still get benefits to that way. So
for you, Tom, you said you struggle with flexibility. So how did you kind of go with, I need to get more flexible? What did that look like for you? What targets did you set yourself, or how did that work?
For me, was the likes of the deep lunge test and being able to touch my toes with straight legs, being able to sit in my squat more comfortable.
Sure.
And then when I did get to a point where I could sit in the squat, trying to actually make it more comfortable again, because it still felt pinchy in my hips and stuff.
Sure.
So then it was like, it got to a point where I was like, well, it looks okay, I can squat, but I'm like,
But
I don't want to sit here all day long. So I set that as a new thing. It's like, well, no, I'm going to keep working on the same stretches and see, then sitting in my squat, does it feel even more comfortable? Does it feel more comfortable? Does it now feel like a resting position for me?
And that's cool. You'd set a target, and once you achieve that target, you're like, okay, I feel like I've made progress, which is rewarding in itself. It's sort of self-motivating, and you're like, okay, well, what's next now? What can I move forward? I think James Smith had a great example of this. James Smith is an online PT. He does a lot of business content now, but he said he had this video idea. What he didn't do before he posted it was sit down with himself and say, how do I think this video is going to perform? Had he done that, he would have been like, maybe 3,000 views, maybe, if it does well. But he posted it and was expecting a banger, and it went to like 3,500 views, and he was devastated, he was raging, he was furious. He's like, had I just sat down and planned this and figured out, okay, how do I manage my expectations here? What does flexible look like for me? What is strong enough? I would have been fine with this, but I was so unsatisfied with the result because I didn't have a clear boundary and goal, which is one of the real powers of what you're saying, of like, just be clear. What does it look like? And if you feel achieving the goal, that's cool too. That's still useful. It's like, okay, well, this plan didn't work. Was my goal too ambitious? Did I need a different strategy? Where do we go next?
And that's, so for me with flexibility as well, it's like, well, I can't do the front splits and the middle splits, but I don't want to. So it's no interest. I want to lift weights, and I want to do the basics of calisthenics, and, you know, walk and exercise and do the odd fun thing. But for me, the more advanced flexibility stuff, it's just like, I don't really want to push towards that. I don't want to invest the time in that myself personally. And I'm okay with that. I'm really happy that when I wake up in the morning, first thing, I can touch my toes and my legs straight out of bed. That's where I'm happy with being. And that's what I defined of like, this is where I want to be. This is a baseline level of flexibility for the normal person. I'm happy being a normal person and enjoying exercise.
Part of the 80% of people that are normal.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the way. But you have to define that. You can't just go, oh, I'm not flexible, and then not even try. Because if I hadn't have went, well, I want to be able to touch my toes, then I'd still be up around my knees and I wouldn't be able to get any further. So, yeah.
And it stops you then as well. If things go off track, you're able to catch it fairly quickly because you know, well, here's the expected standard. Oh, why can't I do that today? Do you have another exercise for us?
Deadlift 100 kilos. Some people may not be ready to even try that yet. So it's like, can you lift an empty barbell? So you got to kind of think, what's the easiest thing to kind of go off? And I kind of like body weight stuff, first of all. And that's why I really like the side plank.
Yep.
So it's like, can you hold yourself up? That's a good first thing for stability thing. Yeah, all day long. But that's the stage you want to get to. It's like, can you hold yourself up?
Exercise.
Yep. Side plank, easy. That's the stage you want to get to. But for so many people that don't train, side plank is it's Everest. It's so hard to do
because it challenges your shoulder. It challenges your core strength, your pelvic strength. It combines a little bit of everything. And if you have one sort of weakness, that will show itself. And you're like, oh, I need to support it with an arm or go on my knees, which are all fine to help build it up. But knowing that, if things are going well, we could do this properly.
That was the thing with mastering your own body weight first was the thing that I found most important, because the more people I worked with that say did train, they had started training, they were lifting weights and stuff, but they kept getting injured, they kept getting back pain and stuff. When I would test them with things like the side plank, test their single leg balance, how long they could stand on one leg for, they would feel something that I now deem was like, that's a pretty should be basic thing that you really want to have before you would lift weights.
Yeah.
Whereas the tricky thing is that your body can try and adapt to anything. So the weights will move and you'll be able to put more weights on and they will go up. But you will run into issues if you're missing those foundational things of like, can you hold yourself up? And another one I really love is the 100 lunge test. So I've started trying to implement that with people. When we do the mobility resets in January, I always do this workout called the lungeathon. And it's just basically 15 minutes of every variation of lunges that you can think of with very little rest. Like you're obviously sweating by the end of it, but as a strength test, could you do 100 lunges, just your own body weight without stopping? And when you first ever try that, you might get to like, say 43 and you have to shake your legs off. And you're like, that is awful. And then you can maybe do another 5 and then you just shake your legs off and go, that is terrible. And then you do 3 and you're like, this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life. And you maybe have to stop at like 52 reps, and that's kind of like, okay, well I got to 52 and that's your benchmark. So your goal is every time you try that is like, well, how could I break this up in different ways? So I got to 43. So doing 20 shouldn't be that bad. So if I do 5 sets of 20 with breaks, I've done 100. So I've done 100 with breaks. So now can I do 4 sets of 25? Now can I do 3 sets of
33.33?
33.33. Break it up in ways that you achieve the task in easier ways and then have another go at it. And you'll maybe get to like 79 before you're like, my legs are burning, I need to stop. And that's how you can track things. Setting a number on something, trying it and going, whew, that was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Like how many times have we all done a workout where we're like, not that bad. And you're like, this is the worst thing in my life.
Still, what's measured can be improved.
Yeah.
If you don't measure it, how do you know if it's getting better or not? Just a word of warning. If you do not currently exercise and you decide to try 100 lunges,
don't.
You might not be able to walk for a week. So that's, but it's a good challenge.
But that's it's the define, right? Well, what do I think would be strong? And if it's even like, I could do 5 push-ups at the start, that's fine. And you will find when you hit those 5 push-ups, you're like, I could do 10 push-ups. And it does get addictive. The more you start to get, you're like, I could try this now. I seen myself years ago, like, I'd never be able to try that. And then we all started hanging out with the calisthenics crew and stuff, and they were all doing front levers and flipping between the bars and backflips and all this here stuff. And I was like, give us a go. And you just start throwing yourself at these things and just having so much fun. Whenever previously before you were like, 5 pull-ups, that's not bad. Whereas now you're trying to do muscle-ups. You're changing what you think's possible just because you've achieved a couple of other things. So I think that's important, that having a pain-free life so that you enable yourself to do other things is super important. In order to be able to tolerate hard things, you need to do hard things. So unfortunately, if you want a pain-free life, you have to go through a little bit of pain. Not necessarily bad pain, but you need to work for it. It's not just going to magically happen. Every good thing I can do now that I can now take for granted, there was a phase of you can't protect people from before you got there, Yeah. So It's not meant to be easy. But that's the fun.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the challenge. Overcoming that challenge is where the reward is, and it's always amazing how you can get into something. As you're saying, like you start off kind of resenting it maybe a little bit, and then you're like, oh, well, I did that though. What's the next thing? And there's so many things in your life that if you start to get really into them, you almost get more into them. It's like a self-fulfilling loop.
That's my favorite thing in the SMM group. Whenever people start to, they've been working on SMM for a while, they've never been in a gym before, never had any interest in it, and they're like, hey guys, I just joined a gym. I just went into a gym for the first time. That is so amazing to see someone that like, no, I don't want to do that, or just no interest whatsoever, going, I'm going to try something new that I've never done before.
That fear of I'm going to make a fool of myself because they don't have any experience, but then suddenly knowing like, oh, I can move my body, I can hold myself up, I'm ready for the next step, and there's that confidence in your body because nothing's really changed, not really, but suddenly you feel like you can move and you could lift stuff, and you know what, even if I do it slightly wrong, oh well, I've been doing SMM wrong for whatever, and then I worked it out, and then it was fine. And you sort of teach yourself that you can do hard things, so you're ready to do the next step. I think it's really cool.
Oh yeah,
my favorite thing to see, sparking someone with you just see someone previously that was like, I can't do that, and then a few months down the road, you see them trying something and failing, and then you see their tongue come out like, I could get that, and you're like, yes you could, yes you could, and you just see this change in someone, and then you do, and because we would always got so close to people in the gym as well, you would see their life outside of that changing, their relationships being better, their hobbies, and you're like, well, what are you doing? Oh, I'm away surfing. So I never would have picked you for someone being surfing. It's like, I just seen an offer for it, I just decided to sign up for it. It's someone that never would have done that, just getting out there. And
so Greg Glassman had a great story. He's the guy that started CrossFit, but he said to any trainer who's starting with a new client, get them to write down 5 things in their life that they would like to improve, and they might write down career, relationships, weird stuff that's not related to the gym. I said check in with them in 6 months. If they've been coming regularly, all of them will have improved just by making progress in one area of your life. It just brings everything else up with it. It's really cool.
Yeah, and we have seen it time and time again.
Oh yeah,
it is absolutely possible.
Yeah,
because you can fix you.
Nice.
Oh, look at that! I got the podcast name in.
So where do people go, Tom?
They go to tommorrison.uk, JP.
Nice, good.
And the best place to start, the Simplicity Mobility Method. So our programs are laid out level 1, level 2, level 3. Start level 1, and if you're someone that is new to everything, you're going to have loads of work to do, but you're going to love it. I'm telling you, you are going to love it, and you're going to find a whole new lease in life. It's going to be awesome. If you're someone that's not that bad, but wanting to try new things, you might find level 1, you're like, this isn't too hard, and then you could progress to level 2 quite quickly. So our programs is always to give you something more to work towards, but best way to do it is 1, 2, 3. So build it up so that you have that good solid foundation that you can just start to layer things on top of.
Lure.
How am I being made fun of now? The turntables have tied. I think it's lunchtime, guys.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you for joining us, and we shall see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.